So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. We will be trying to cover the important articles which are there in the newspaper today. So let's start without wasting further any time, and sorry for the delay because some glitch was there. Anyways, so we'll be starting with the practice question, then we will be moving further with the facts of the day. Okay, so after that we will be talking about our constitution. You know that we were discussing about various parts, and yesterday we have talked about tribunals. Today we will be talking about the elections. Okay, we will be looking at the elections and election commission, etc. Okay, and moving further, we will be discussing these three articles today, that is Nobel Prize in Medicine. You know that recently in 2024 we are giving these Nobel Prizes, and in medicine for the discovery of microRNA. MicroRNA they have discovered, and for that they have been given a prize, you can say. So we will be discussing that. We will be looking at the importance of this particular discovery, that is microRNA. Then India Maldives vision document. Yesterday we have talked about the India Maldives or the President Moizu's visit to India. We will be seeing the outcomes of this particular visit. Okay, and after that rupee ruble trade. When we talk about the trade between India and Russia, you know that because of various reasons and the Western sanctions are there, Russia is keen to go for rupee ruble trade with India, or you can say local currencies they want to use in the trade. So we will be looking at that, what are the concerns of Russian side and what are the issues from the India side. Okay, so this will be our discussions today. So let's start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Which of the following countries is not a founding member of SCO? They are talking about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. They are saying that which is not a founding member: China, Russia, India, Kazakhstan. If you know about this organization, you know that the 2017 was the year when India as well as Pakistan received the full membership. Okay, so obviously when they have received full membership in 2017, they would not be the founding members. Okay, see here you can see the founding members were Kazakhstan. In 1996 there was this name that was there, that is Shanghai 5. Okay, that Shanghai 5 means that there were 5 you can say nations which were there in the initial idea. Okay, so Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia and Tajikistan, these were the 5 you can say countries which were there in the Shanghai 5, and in 2001 Uzbekistan joined, and then it became Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Okay, so basically if we talk about the SCO, founding members were Kazakhstan, China, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, because before that it was Shanghai 5. Okay, so if they ask you who were the you can say founding members of Shanghai 5, so these 5 were, and when we talk about the SCO, these 6 were the members which were founding members. Okay, now in 2017 India and Pakistan joined, so here you can say 6th member, 7th and 8th. After that 9th was Iran in 2023, and in 2024 the next was Belarus. We have discussed all these things yesterday, but for your information I have repeated it. Okay, so that's about these questions. Now we can move further. So at our centers Lucknow, Prayagraj, Jaipur and Karol Bagh, we are having GS foundation course for IAS prelims as well as mains. So you can directly go to the center and get enrolled. These courses are being commenced on the various dates which are mentioned over here. 16th October at Lucknow, Prayagraj admissions are open, Jaipur admissions are open. When we talk about Karol Bagh, 17th October is the date. Okay, so you can directly visit the center, get enrolled in the course, or you can call on this number, that is 8010440440. Okay, 8010440440. On this number you can call for any kind of query, or for admissions you can directly visit the centers. Okay, now let's start with the next part, that is basically facts of the day. Now when we talk about the key facts, these considering the Hirakund Dam, recently government has decided to revamp the Hirakund Dam. Okay, so when we talk about the rejuvenation process etc., or the desilting etc., so for that Hirakund Dam was in news. Considering that they can ask you about the backward linkages, I have taken this you can say particular topic over here. It is a multi-purpose scheme conceived by engineer M. Vishweshwarya in 1937 after a recurrence of devastating floods in Mahanadi river. So there are two things which can be extracted from this statement. One, the concept or the idea was put forward by the M. Vishweshwarya, and then when we talk about the reason was the floods in the Mahanadi river. Okay, Moving further, it was built around in 1952 to 53. The Hirakund Dam is one of India's first major multi-purpose river valley project post independence. Okay, so it was one of the India's first major project. Then it holds the title of the longest major earthen dam globally. Okay, so it is an earthen dam and it is the longest dam because it is having you can say on the course of Mahanadi, it is running across nearly 25.8 kilometers. Okay, so that is there. You don't have to remember the length etc. Just know that it is having a title of longest major earthen dam globally. Okay, then it was inaugurated by our then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru. Hirakund Dam forms the Hirakund Reservoir. This is also known as the Hirakund Lake. It is an artificial lake. Okay, obviously it was made by a you can say when we are talking about the Hirakund Dam, this was a dam which was made by people. That is why it is artificial dam, and it is largest artificial dam in Asia. Okay, Hirakund Reservoir was declared as a Ramsar site in 2021. So that fact is also important for you. Okay, since it is the most recent fact, so please remember that that can be asked. Other than that, you know that the concept was you can say put forward by M. Vishwesvaraya, and then it was inaugurated by Jawaharlal Nehru, and it is the longest earthen bank globally, and it is an artificial lake, or you can say largest artificial lake in Asia. Okay, I hope that is clear. Now we can move further with the next one. Here we have discussed all these parts. Last time we have discussed the administrative tribunals and other tribunals, that was there in the part 14a. Today we will be talking about the part 15. Part 15 is basically talking about the elections. Okay, and elections will be important for you this time because there was 2-3 important things which were there in news. One nation, one election. Then there was this 2024 election, Lok Sabha elections were there. Other than that, also recently Jammu and Kashmir's election, Haryana elections, they are going on. So election is a, you can say, a favorite topic for UPSC. So you can go through this particular part. So let's see. There are article 324 to 329 which are there in part 15, and they are talking about elections. Article 324 empowers the Election Commission of India to supervise, direct and control the preparation of electoral rolls and conduct elections of parliament, state legislature. And other than that, also when we talk about the ECI, Election Commission of India, Election Commission of India goes for elections, supervising elections of president, vice president, then you can say parliament and state legislatures. Okay, so these are the 4 areas where you can say Election Commission of India will be taking over. And when we talk about the local body elections, that is panchayat and urban local bodies, so these are basically under the purview of the state election commissions. Okay, now article 325 ensures no one is excluded from the electoral roll based on the religion, race, caste or sex. Okay, article 326 established the adult suffrage. Okay, when we talk about adult suffrage, you know that there is a particular age which is there, and after which you can go for voting. You can tell me in the comment box that what is the age that has been decided by the government over here. Voting rights for all citizens aged 18 and above, so it is given over here anyways as the basis of the election. Article 327 allows parliament to make laws regarding the elections to the parliament and the state legislature. Now in this part, mostly they are talking about the elections, and they are saying that with respect to the elections, whatever laws will be there, that laws will be made by the parliament over here. Okay, so parliament, this particular article allows the parliament to make laws regarding the elections to parliament as well as the state legislature. Okay, so in this case, for both, for the state assemblies as well as the parliament will be the authority who will go for making the, you can say, rules. Moving further, article 328 empowers the state legislature to make provisions related to the election within the states. Okay, now when we talk about the particular framework that will be decided by the parliament, then article 328 empowers the state legislature to make provisions related to the election within the state. Now they are talking about the making law regarding the elections, and they are talking about the making provisions with respect to elections in the state. So states are having some power over there, but they have to work within the framework which has been made by the parliament. Okay, then article 329 prohibits the judicial interference in the electoral matters. Okay, so that is there. So these are certain provisions which are there with respect to the elections in India. So you can go through this article. Some article which are important, or the most important article over here is basically your article 324 and 326. Article 324 is talking about ECI, Election Commission of India, and then when we talk about the article 326, this is talking about the adult suffrage. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now let's move further and see the Election Commission of India. This is, you know, that it is a constitutional body. Okay, it is a permanent independent body. Election Commission of India is a permanent independent constitutional authority because it is mentioned in the article 324. That is why it is constitutional authority established under article 324 of the constitution. Primary role is basically ECI is responsible for the conducting elections to the parliament, state legislature, offices of president and vice president of India, which we have already discussed. It does not oversee the election for urban local bodies like municipalities and the panchayats, which state election commission is responsible for. Okay, so I hope that is clear. We can move further because we have already been you can say discussing the appointment etc. in the current affairs. So that is why we will be, you know, taking the liberty that we can move further now. Okay. Now let's start with the discussion of our day. Since the paper could not be downloaded, there is some kind of glitch which is going on the Indian Express site. If you can download, you can mention in the comment that you can download. It's just on my part, maybe. Anyways, moving further. The news is this year 2 American scientists, Dr. Victor Ambrose and the Gary Ruskin, has been awarded Nobel Prize in Medicine. Okay, Nobel Prize in Medicine. You know that Nobel Prizes are given in every year when we talk about the some kind of experts which are there and they have done very good in their you can say field of expertise. So basically Nobel Prizes is given. This is a kind of when we talk about science, this is kind of highest of honor. Anyways, according to the Nobel Prize website, American scientists have been honored for the discovery of microRNA. Now we will be seeing what is microRNA, what are the functions of microRNA, etc. Okay, so let's see. Now what is microRNA? Let's see. The molecule that helps to, you know, that helps cells to control their protein production. Now 2-3 things we will be trying to understand over here. Let's say this is a cell. Okay. Now cell has a genetic material. You know that we have DNAs, okay, we have chromosomes, DNAs, etc. These are the, you can say, things which are storing the genetic material. Now these are having a general genetic material. General means that all the traits which are there in the chromosomes, and there are RNAs which are having a specific, you can say, information. Okay, then there is this messenger RNA, that is mRNA, that is basically working as a, you can say, postman, okay, which is taking this, you can say, specific information to a particular place for the basically through the ribosomes, and ribosomes are the, you can say, protein factory where protein is manufactured. Now why protein is manufactured? Protein in the body has a specific function. If body has to perform certain functions, protein there are various specific proteins are there for that. Okay, so for that protein you can say production is quite important for us. Okay, so when we are talking about the, you can say, these microRNA, the molecules that help cell to control their protein production. Okay, then moving further, protein produced by the cells play an important role in almost all biological processes of a living organism. Whatever functions our body is doing, that is doing through the help of some kind of chemical. That chemicals are basically your proteins. Okay, example, if we take a protein called hemoglobin transports the oxygen. Okay, so now this is the protein which helps in the transportation of the oxygen across the body. Okay, moving further, insulin helps in the absorption of the blood glucose, that is insulin. Okay, sorry. Okay, so insulin helps in the absorption of the blood glucose, etc. Then there are chromosomes which are basically structures within the cell that store the genetic information in the form of DNA. As I told you, in the cell we have, you can say, chromosomes. These chromosomes are actually storing the genetic information in the form of DNA, and so basically you can say that DNA are basically the general genetic information which is stored in a cell. Okay, moving further, if we talk about now looking at this particular thing, this is the toolbox, this microRNA, etc. These are kind of a toolbox which is helping them generate the protein. Now every cell in the body has a toolbox, okay, containing some tools or genes. Different cell needs to use different tool depending on the job. Now when we talk about this DNA over here, or you can say these genetic pool which is there, okay, now this is kind of a toolbox. Let's say you can say there is a car, and that car has been broken, and you go to a mechanic has the toolbox, he opened the toolbox, there are various tools which are available over there. Okay, now he will use the tool which is important for that particular part which has been broken for your car. Okay, so basically for different parts there will be different tools. Okay, so similarly there are DNA for different you can say function, there are different genetic informations which are there. And now the job of these micro RNA is to help in the synthesis of proteins, so that they can use the, you can say, basically a particular kind of tool from the toolbox. Okay, so basically there is a lot of genetic information which is there, out of which has to be selected for the production of a particular kind of protein. So that is been regulated by the micro RNAs. Okay, so the job of micro RNA is to regulate basically the protein synthesis. So here you can see, now DNA is the database of instruction or the genetic information which is there. This is the pool of genetic information. When we talk about DNA, it is a double helix structure. Okay, so here you can say this one helix is like this and second is like this. Okay, and these are the bases which are there, and these are basically, you can say, the instructions or the genetic information which are there. Now coming to the RNA. RNA is basically a specific instruction. Now when we talk about RNA, for out of this DNA's database, if let's say there is one particular, let's say hemoglobin has to be produced by some particular cell. Okay, so for that a specific information is there. That specific information is basically your RNA. Now RNA is there. Now RNA tells that now I have to produce some more of hemoglobin. So that instruction is being given to the mRNA. Now mRNA is basically your messenger RNA. Okay, messenger RNA. This messenger RNA will take this message in the form of replica, and that will go to a ribosome. Ribosome is basically your protein factory. Okay, it will go to the mRNA over here. Now here we have these micro RNA. These are the regulators. Now micro RNA will decide which tool is to be used for the production of this particular protein. Okay, so mRNA is different from micro RNA. mRNA is messenger RNA that will take the message to the ribosome, and then ribosome will go for the synthesis of the protein by the use of these micro RNAs. This micro RNA will regulate the process over here. Okay, so they will see which tool is to be taken, which genetic information is to be taken or not, which protein is to be synthesized and which is not. Okay, so that is basically the job of micro RNA, and once this micro RNA does his job, then you will be seeing that there is this protein function product. Here we will be looking at the process of protein synthesis. Okay, so that is the job of micro RNA here. Okay, that is micro RNA, which is basically controlling the process, regulating the protein synthesis. Okay, now we will be seeing that why this particular discovery is important. Hold on a second. Okay, so why this particular discovery is important? So let's see. Different cell in the body makes different proteins depending on their specific function. That I have already told you that for different parts, different protein is required and different process is there. Differentiation between the cell is controlled by the gene regulation, which effectively turns on or off the specific genes in a cell so that they can perform a specific function. In a particular cell, they will control a particular kind of gene. Okay, specific gene, they will turn it on or off. Accordingly, the protein will be synthesized. Now if there is a defect in a particular gene, okay, if there is a defect in the gene regulation, this process, if there is some kind of issue with this particular process, then you face diseases in the body. Okay, that can be very serious diseases as well, like cancer, etc. Okay, cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, etc. So if there is a problem in the genetic or the gene regulation which is done by the microRNA, then you will have disease. And then to actually treat the disease, you should know that what kind of or where we have gone wrong. Okay, thus understanding gene regulation is the key to understand the potential treatments for many diseases. Okay, so for regulating or for actually understanding the gene regulation, you need to understand the function of microRNAs, and that has been the discovery. They have discovered the microRNA, and that is why they have been awarded the Nobel Prize. Okay, I hope that is clear. So this is about the microRNA. This is basically the, you can say, molecules which are basically controlling the protein synthesis in the body. Okay, and why protein is important? Because for specific functions, protein will be responsible. So that is about the Nobel Prize in medicine and the microRNAs. Now we can move further to the next article. Okay. Key takeaways from the India Maldives vision document: health, education, startup, political exchange, etc., etc. So in this particular visit with the Prime Minister Modi, President Muizu has signed various documents over here, and they have signed a vision document for, you can say, India and Maldives. Here you can say they have decided to constitute a high level core group to oversee the implementation of the vision document. Okay, the leadership of this group will be decided mutually between the two sides. So they have signed a vision document. Now let's see where they have you can say what all things they have discussed in that. Maldives currency swap agreement. India signed a 750 million currency swap agreement to ease the Maldives foreign exchange crisis. Maldives is going through an economic crisis, and how this currency you can say swap agreement will help this, we will try to understand that in the next slide. Now when we are talking about the foreign exchange crisis, please remember that Maldives is going through a forex crisis, and when we will be understanding what is currency swap agreement, then I will tell you that how it will help the Maldives. Now it includes 400 million under the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation SHARC currency swap framework, and additional 3000 crore, that is 357 million US dollars. The arrangement between the Reserve Bank of India and the Maldives Monetary Authority will be valid till 2027. So 2027 they will be ending this mechanism. Okay, now coming to the, this was the news that they have signed the memorandum. Now we will be seeing that what is a currency swap agreement. Okay, see, between two countries is a financial agreement where they exchange a set of amount, their respective currency, for a certain period of time. Okay, so let's say India has given 300 US dollar, 300 billion US dollars to Maldives. Okay, now they will be giving it in the form of rupee. Okay, and then Maldives will be giving it in the form of their own local currency. Okay, now whatever trade between India and Maldives will be there, that will be in the form of the Maldivian currency and the rupees. Okay, so basically there is no role of dollars now in the trade of Maldives and India. There is no role of dollars. Now if there is another country, let's say Sri Lanka is accepting a trade with Maldives in rupees, so Maldives can go for the trade in rupees with Sri Lanka as well, because we have given the loan. Now how they manage that does not matter. In 2027 we will be asking for that money back. Okay, and we will give their money back to them. Okay, so basically in case of any kind of loan, in case of any kind of interest payment, in case of any kind of trade between the two countries, they will be doing in the form of rupee and the Maldivian currency. Okay, so that is their agreement between the two countries is a financial agreement where they exchange a set of amount of their respective currencies for a certain period. Okay, so that period in case of Maldives and India is 2027. Key feature: purpose is to facilitate trade, investment without needing a third currency like US dollar. Mostly international trade is done in US dollars because that is the hard currency. Now since Maldives is having a forex reserve crisis, they are having very less forex reserve, so they will not be having much of the dollar. So that is why India said that you don't have to purchase anything from us in the dollar, you can directly go for the, you can say, Indian rupee. Okay, so that is the importance of the currency swap agreement. Similarly, when we talk about Russia, with Russia also we are having this, you can say, rupee ruble trade agreement. Okay, wherein we are trading in the rupees and the ruble. Ruble is the currency of Russia. Okay, and we are trading in the our currencies, local currencies only, and not in the US dollar, because Russia is also facing sanctions from the Western countries. Okay, so that is why they are also short on you can say dollars as of now. So that is there. Moving further, mechanism: a central bank exchange their currencies which can be used for the stabilizing the markets or fulfill the international payment obligations. Okay, so for the payments or for the market stabilization they can be used. Benefits: reduce currency volatility, because you are going for the hedging. Here you are fixing the exchange rate, and that is why the inflation etc., that kind of risk is not there. Volatility, or you can say the currency, if the currency is volatile and all, that risk will not be there. Okay, so that is one thing. Second is the improved liquidity in the times of crisis. Since Maldives is going through the crisis, they do not have the dollars, and that is why now they have rupees, and they can have trade with India in the form of rupee. So that liquidity crisis is also being managed over here. Strengthen the bilateral economic ties. Obviously the ties are better, the relations are cordial, and dependency on the dollar is being reduced. Okay, so that is about the currency swap agreement between the two countries. Other MOUs which are signed between India and Maldives, that are basically launch of rupees in Maldives. So obviously we are sending rupee, or we have given that amount to Maldives. So launch of rupee in you can say Maldives. Other than that, they have also gone for the launching of UPI etc., digital public infrastructure etc. So that will be there. Okay. Handed over 700 houses built under the India Aid scheme. Okay, so that is a scheme which is working over there. We have built 700 houses over there. Memorandum of understanding were signed between the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Anti-Corruption Commission of Maldives with respect to the any kind of crime which is happening cross border. Okay, so that is there. Maldives Police and the Judicial Training Institution of both countries, they have also signed an MOU for cooperation in the sports and youth affairs, that is there. Other than that, these are the areas wherein they have discussed certain things or they have gone for the cooperation, that is bilateral ties enhancement, then health sector, education initiatives, startup ecosystem development. Other than that, political exchange has happened, developmental cooperation with respect to the joint efforts in the infrastructure building, port development, etc. Trade and economic cooperation, which we have seen that they have gone for the, you can say, swap agreement, etc. Digital and the financial partnerships, capacity building and training, which we have seen that in the case of CBI, etc., if they are going for the joint operations, then there will be, you can say, such initiatives will also be there. People to people linkages with respect to the cultural ties, etc. They will also go for the tourism, etc. All these things have been discussed in the vision document. Okay. Moving further to the next article, that is talking about as Russia seeks to expand trade in rupee ruble, RBI and SEBI remains wary. Okay. Now, Russia wants that India should have more and more trade in rupee ruble format. Okay. Now, why we are worried about it? That one, we are sending our money to Russia. That is one thing. Russia can use it for any kind of trade with another country because dollar is not being used by Russia, or dollar, or you can say trade in dollar has been put under sanctions by the USA. Okay. After the Russia-Ukraine war, they have been seeing more and more sanctions. Other than that, when we talk about the, you can say, issue in Crimea 2014, after that also there is some kind of sanctions which were there on Russia. Okay. Second thing is, when we are trading with ruble, we are getting rubles in our country as well. Okay, so that means that ruble will be used with Russia only. So whatever rubles which we are getting, that means that we can only trade with Russia with that, because other countries are not accepting it. Okay, so more and more trade has to be there with Russia. Okay, on India's part. Now that is the concern. Okay, because most of the countries are, or the Western allies are not happy with that. Okay, so that is one thing. So that is there. Other than that also, when we talk about the institution like Financial Action Task Force, etc., we do not know right till now what kind of actions they will be taking against Russia, because Russia is not stopping the war in Ukraine. Okay. So considering all these speculations, India is kind of having some kind of concerns for this particular trade. They are okay with to some extent, but Russia wants to have more and more of such trade so that they can get rupee and they can have a, you can say, some kind of amount which can be used for the trade with other countries, because obviously they cannot trade in you can say dollars. Okay. Anyways, as Russia seeks to expand trade in rupee ruble, RBI and SEBI remains wary, because RBI is the, you can say, watchdog in the monetary terms. When we talk about SEBI, it is the watchdog in the market. Okay, so basically in case of investment, etc., SEBI is the authority. While some of these issues were likely discussed in the recent Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia, email seeking comments from the RBI and SEBI on the current status did not elicit a response. So that is a different story. Anyways, Russia's push for the rupee ruble trade. Russia is keen on expanding the trade with India in national currencies, that is rupee and ruble, amid Western sanctions. However, India's financial regulators such as SEBI and RBI are cautious about it. Okay. Now let's see what is the issue over here. Now, challenge faced by the Sberbank and regulatory hurdles. This is the biggest bank in Russia. Okay. So let's see, restricted operations. Now, SEBI has limited the FPI license to the bank. Okay, so Russian bank Sberbank is not getting the FPI license, or they have restricted the license to only, you can say, oil and gas derivatives only. Okay, so for other things they cannot go for the investment. So that is one restriction which was there on, you can say, Russia on Russia right now. Okay, second is gold import rejections. Russia has said that they should go for some 100 tons of purchasing gold from Russia. RBI has said that they are having some kind of concerns with respect to that. So RBI turned down the bank's offer to go for the purchase of the 100 tons due to the supervisory concerns. Okay, so that is the second thing. Third is high import duty. Russia seeks reduction of 15% gold import duty to compete with UAE, which has 14% rate. Okay, now we are having high duty on Russian gold, and with respect to, or if we compare with the UAE, so Russia wants us to decrease that high duty on that, but we are not doing that as well. So that is the concern on Russia's side. Other than that, access to the government website. The bank is saying that the server bank from Russia is saying that they are facing challenges accessing the Indian regulatory website due to the internet firewalls. Okay. So these are the concerns which has been raised by the Russia's side. Okay. Now moving further, you will be seeing that what kind of concerns we are facing right now. Okay. Or other than that, what kind of future implications are there? See, Bank's gold import projection rejected, because obviously when we talk about the gold, India do import such gold, and that is one of the problem India is facing, that India is going for the import of you can say gold, and that is you can say having a negative impact on the you can say forex as well. So that is one thing, and because of which also we have rejected this proposal. Second is high import duty on the Russian gold, which we have already discussed in the UAE with respect to UAE. Third is high risk country. Now when we are talking about Russia, Russia might be a high risk country, because when we talk about ECGC maintain a Russia's C2 high risk status. Now they are considering that Russia can be a high risk country. When we are talking about the credentials of the country, there are international reports etc., which are basically deciding the credentials of a country, so that if going for the investment or the trade with that particular country can be beneficial or not. Okay, for such things there is this body, that is ECGC, that is maintaining Russia's status as a high risk country. So that is one concern that India is having, that if we are too much involved or our economy is intermingled with Russian economy, there are chances that it might impact the Indian economy as well. Okay, then moving further, FATF uncertainty. There is this group G7, under which there is this you can say task force is there, financial action task force, that is FATF. So clarification on the FATF membership needed. There is a confusion regarding the Russia's FATF membership, which impacts the regulatory clarity and trade. Okay, so with respect to the you can say status in the FATF also there is uncertainty, and that is why India is having being cautious about the trade with Russia. Okay, so that is about the India Russia trade and the what kind of implications are there. Now in the end we will be having this practice question for you. Why is understanding gene regulation important? Options are given. It explains how DNA is replicated. It helps in understanding the cell differentiation and the disease mechanisms like cancers. It reveals how organisms evolve. It provides insight into the protein folding. Okay, so you can attempt this question and answer the answer in the comment box. You can choose the most appropriate answer from this. Okay, in case where you have such questions like this, you can say they are asking about the importance etc. So you have to choose the most appropriate answer, because when you look at the options there might be confusion, considering the options might be looking similar. Okay, so you have to choose the most appropriate answer. Other than that, since we could not you can say get the screenshot of the you can say newspaper, so for your own read article is not given over here, so you can directly go through the Drishti YouTube channel. There are various programs which are running over there, so if there is something missing over here you can go through those programs. Okay, as of now I will be taking a you can say we'll be wrapping up the video over here. I'll see you in the next episode. Till then, have a good day. Thank you, and please subscribe the channel.